Success is the ultimate revenge, but not in the way most people think. It's not about proving someone wrong out of spite, nor is it about making someone regret their actions with bitterness in your heart. It's about choosing yourself, choosing growth, and choosing to rise above what tried to break you. When someone hurts you, betrays your trust, or walks away when you needed them most, the most powerful thing you can do is not to chase them, not to beg for their validation, not to shrink yourself to fit their expectations, but to become so deeply rooted in your own worth that their absence feels like a gift, not a loss. There's a part of you that wants to react, that wants to make them feel what they made you feel. That's human. We want justice. We want people to understand the depth of the pain they caused. But the truth is, focusing on them doesn't heal you. It doesn't undo the hurt. It only keeps you bound to it. The more energy you give to what they did, the more you let them win. And that's not who you are. You are not someone who stays trapped in the past, living in the shadow of someone else's choices. You are someone who rises. The best thing you can do, the most powerful thing you can do, is shift your focus entirely. Instead of looking at them, look at yourself. What can you build from this? What lessons can you take? How can you use this as fuel, not to destroy, but to create? Every time someone underestimates you, doubts you, or tries to break your spirit, they hand you an opportunity. You can take that pain and turn it into something extraordinary. Because a real win isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Success is not about revenge in the traditional sense. It's not about waiting for the day they look back and regret losing you. It's about reaching a place where you don't even care if they do. It's about waking up every morning feeling so fulfilled, so in alignment with who you are, that their actions no longer hold any weight in your life. It's about creating a life so full, so meaningful, that their absence is irrelevant. Think about it. When you're thriving, when you're growing, when you're stepping into the fullest version of yourself, the people who hurt you will see it. They will notice. And maybe, just maybe, they will realize what they lost. But by then you won't even be looking back. That's the beauty of real success. It doesn't seek revenge. It doesn't need validation. It simply is. You don't need to chase closure. You don't need to make them understand. You don't need to wait for an apology that may never come. The moment you stop needing those things is the moment you set yourself free. And that freedom, that's what true success feels like. Not the kind that's measured by money or status, but the kind that's measured by peace, by self-respect, by the unshakable knowing that you are more than what happened to you. So if you've been hurt, if you've been betrayed, if you've been left behind, don't waste another second trying to make someone else see your worth. Spend every second becoming someone you are proud of. Focus on your dreams. Focus on your growth. Focus on the kind of person you want to be. Because that is the real win. That is the real revenge. And in the end, you won't just have healed, you have flourished. Letting go is one of the hardest things we will ever do. Not because we don't want to heal, but because a part of us believes that holding on will somehow change the past. We replay conversations, analyze moments, search for answers that will never come, all in an attempt to make sense of the hurt. We think that if we just understand why they did what they did, maybe we can find peace. But the truth is, peace isn't something they can give you. It's something you have to claim for yourself. There's a moment after being hurt when everything in you wants to hold on. You want to fight for what was lost, make sense of the betrayal, maybe even make them see how deeply they hurt you. But here's what I've learned. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stop looking for closure and start creating it for yourself. The moment you decide that your healing is no longer tied to their apology, their regret, or their ability to understand, you take your power back. We carry so much weight when we hold on to pain. It lingers in our thoughts, shapes the way we see ourselves, and influences the way we show up in the world. But what if we made a different choice? What if, instead of carrying the burden of what they did, we simply put it down? What if, instead of waiting for the past to make sense, we let it stay where it belongs, behind us? Letting go doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain or acting like it didn't matter. It means making the conscious decision that your future is more important than your past. It means understanding that the only way to truly move forward is to stop looking backward. It means choosing your own peace over your need for answers. I know that's not easy. I know how tempting it is to replay everything over and over in your head, thinking that if you just look at it from the right angle, it'll finally make sense. But the truth is, some things will never make sense. Some people will never give you the closure you deserve. And that's okay, because their inability to be who you needed them to be has nothing to do with your worth. You are not defined by what they did. You are not defined by the way they left, the words they said, or the pain they caused. You are defined by the way you choose to rise after it. And rising means releasing. It means deciding that your energy, your joy, your future are far too valuable to be weighed down by something that no longer serves you. There is freedom in letting go. There is strength in moving forward without needing them to understand. And one day you'll wake up and realize that the thing that once held so much power over you no longer has a place in your heart. That's when you know you've truly let go. Not when you forget, but when you remember without it hurting anymore. So, don't hold on to what's breaking you. Don't keep reliving a story that no longer belongs in your life. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose to move forward. Because that is where your power is. That is where your healing begins. And that is where your freedom lives. Pain has a way of making us feel powerless. When someone hurts us, betrays us, or walks away, it can feel like they've taken a part of us with them. Our confidence, our trust, maybe even our sense of self-worth. But here's the truth. No one has the power to define you unless you let them. No one gets to decide your worth, your strength, or your future. The pain they cause may have changed you, but it does not have to destroy you. You get to decide what happens next. There is something extraordinary about people who take their pain and turn it into power. We've all met someone who has been through the worst, but carries themselves with grace, resilience, and an undeniable presence. It's not because they weren't hurt. It's because they refused to let the hurt become their identity. They used it. They took the betrayal, the heartbreak, the loss, and they built something new from it. Not in a way that denies what happened, but in a way that proves they are bigger than what happened to them. That you don't have to be the victim of your own story. You don't have to stay stuck in the narrative of what they did to you. Pain can either break you or build you, and that choice is yours. I know that sounds unfair because sometimes the pain wasn't your fault. Sometimes you didn't ask for this. But taking back your power isn't about fairness. It's about refusing to let someone else's actions dictate your future. It's about looking at everything that tried to tear you down and saying, you don't win, I do. Turning pain into power doesn't mean ignoring what happened. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt or acting like you're fine when you're not. It means feeling it, facing it, and deciding that it won't define you. It means asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What kind of person do I want to become because of this? And then, step by step, making the decision to rise. You are not weak for feeling hurt. You are not broken because you trusted the wrong person, because you gave your heart to someone who didn't value it, or because you believed in something that didn't last. Those things don't make you weak. They make you human. What makes you powerful is what you do next. You can let this pain make you bitter, or you can let it make you wiser. You can let it close your heart, or you can let it teach you what you truly deserve. You can let it make you small, or you can let it be the fire that pushes you to become the strongest version of yourself. Some of the most incredible people you will ever meet are the ones who have been through hell and still choose to shine. Not because it was easy, not because they weren't hurt, but because they refused to let the pain be the final chapter of their story. That can be you. No, that will be you. So when the world tries to break you, when people betray you, when life doesn't go the way you planned, remember this: the pain is not the end. It's just the beginning of something greater. The fire that tried to destroy you will be the same fire that forges you into something unstoppable. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the thing that once hurt you the most became the very thing that made you unshakable. There's a moment after being hurt when you wonder if they'll ever realize what they did. Will they regret it? Will they look back and see what they lost? And if they do, will it even matter? That thought lingers because when someone wounds us deeply, it's natural to want recognition, to know that the pain wasn't one-sided, that it meant something. But here's the truth. Real healing happens when you stop needing that validation. The moment you step into your own power, when you no longer crave their regret or their understanding, that's when you truly win. Growth has a way of speaking for itself. You don't have to chase revenge. You don't have to prove anything. The most powerful thing you can do is focus on yourself so fully, so unapologetically, that your success becomes undeniable. And I don't just mean success in the way the world measures it, money, status, accomplishments. I mean success in your healing, in your peace, in the way you walk through life without bitterness weighing you down. There is something magnetic about a person who has been hurt but refuses to be defined by it. Someone who chooses to rise, not because they want to be seen, but because they know they deserve more than a life spent dwelling on the past. The people who hurt you will notice. Maybe not right away, maybe not in the way you imagined, but they will. One day, they will see the person you've become, and in that moment, they will realize that they no longer have a place in your world. And that will say more than words ever could. Because the truth is, people expect you to stay broken. They expect you to be bitter. They expect to hold a permanent space in your mind, to know that their actions still have a grip on you. But when you rise, when you become stronger, happier, untouchable, that's when they feel the weight of what they lost. And by then, you won't even care. That's the beauty of real growth. It's not about proving a point. It's about getting to a place where their absence feels like a blessing, where their opinion holds no power, where their memory is just a passing thought, not an anchor. You won't need their regrets because you will have built a life so full, so rich in love, purpose, and joy that their validation becomes irrelevant. Let that be your goal. Not revenge, not regret, not even justice. Just becoming so deeply at peace with yourself that nothing from your past can shake you. Because the best revenge isn't making them see what they lost. It's making yourself see what you gained. And when you do, you'll realize that you never really lost anything at all.